Hello everyone, hope you're doing well, hope you can ask yourselves. As you can see, this is in person. So we are moving to more in-person episodes because we thought now is the time to get involved with more in-person things. You know, you've seen us talking one person on the screen at a time. Sometimes we've had three, on an occasional special occasion. But yeah, we're now in person and we are back with another episode of Behind the Curtain. And you know, we always have amazing guest speakers on. We always have people who are passionate about stuff, passionate about topics. And I thought, what better way to start this episode, to start our first actual Behind the Curtains in-person episode, than bringing on an amazing guest speaker. But as I say, I'll never do them justice. You know, it's taken us a while to get this episode, so I don't want to ruin their introduction. So I'm going to hand over to our guest speaker. So, Vic, could you just tell us a bit about you?
Yes, so hello everyone. I'm really happy to be here. I'm Victoria, or Vic, and I'm a Vice President of College of Health, Medicine and Life Sciences. That's a breather, but basically I'm one of the sabbatical officers. It's my second year in the role, and I'm also a psychology student from Poland. I think that's the best I can do.
No, it's a great introduction. It's a great introduction. So yeah, so you might have seen Vic on some of the Union's Instagram or Facebook or social media channels, should I say, producing some videos. And she's going to be talking more about actually one of her campaigns that you might have seen on there as well, because I know I've seen it, so you might have seen it too. But yeah, we'll start things off with our first official question of the episode. Now, you're as you mentioned, you're the VP for well, I don't know if it's Chills anymore because it's got the M, so I think it's CHMLS. I'm telling you, when you've been here for a while, you have to get used to all these new things. But
believe me, most of the stuff didn't.
Honestly, it doesn't. You'll find if you're a Brunel student or listener, you know, sometimes things take time before they sort of become every day. But yeah, I think it's really important to mention that, you know, you are, as I mentioned, you know, people might have seen you from the videos that you've done on Instagram, especially. I've seen them about the Period campaign that's being run by the Student Union, led by you. And I guess our first question is, could we know more about it? What's it about?
So now it actually has a title, which took us a long time actually, which is Period at Brunel. I know, very original, but I guess it's to the point. So I think there are two parts to the campaign, and one is just simply providing free products for people in university. And because it's a union project from the start, we're starting a little bit smaller, and so it's Hamilton Centre, all bathrooms near our bar lockers, basically. And the second part of the campaign is to actually raise awareness of period poverty. Obviously, it's a bigger issue nowadays. That cost of living crisis touches like every aspect of everyone's life. And also, you know, try and maybe tackle the stigma of period as well. So, you know, help people feel more comfortable to talk about this and maybe, you know, destroy some of the myths. And I think the aim for the campaign is to go bigger with it and get university to provide products in more buildings than just ours.
Oh, wow, that's really powerful. Yeah, I think kind of like you mentioned, and it might, I guess it'd be good for us to explain. You know, you mentioned period poverty. Now there might be some people listening or watching who might be not sure what that means. Could you just let us know exactly what it is?
As with, I think, poverty in general, it's really hard to give a definition for it. And period poverty is obviously like a part of poverty that you can't really separate. But obviously, this is just people not being able to afford period products, and often then that leads them to having to use toilet tissue instead, or socks, or stuff like that. And obviously, the products can be very expensive. Some countries like Scotland, I know, have now provides it to most of the education facilities, which is amazing. England does it for schools, not for universities yet. Hopefully yet. And so yeah, I think it's because period a lot of times for families I feel like because you can use, let's say, toilet tissue, if you have choice between buying a meal or that, a lot of times you choose the first one. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And like you said, both from a sort of like a perspective of, whether it's someone who's at university or not, but especially, well, I mean, I say especially, but sort of like globally, with rising costs of living, items being more expensive than they used to, like you said, is really a very prevalent and very sort of like a important issue. And it is really great to sort of hear that the union, especially, is doing work on that. And kind of what we said, with all campaigns or with all activism work, it starts small, but it's a gradual change that's really helps it. Now, I guess the next question we want to ask is, what inspired you to start this campaign? Because I know, as you yourself, you've run a few campaigns before, but what inspired you to start this particular campaign?
So it was actually last year when I was working at campaign of like anti-sexual harassment, I'd say. One of our women's officer at the time, Daisy, was working on that with us, and they came up with an idea of us buying some products and then providing it to people. But then unfortunately summer came and they never really went further with it, but we were very happy to pass it on. And I kind of picked it up because we all thought it is amazing thing to do. So then since then I've been just working on it because I think as a person who menstruates, that's very close to my heart. And yeah, I think the dialogue around period stigma and everything in recent years has been more present and louder. And I think we already see change like in advertisements, and there's lots of charities and activists that do it. So yeah, I think it was the time. And so I think everything really, but started with Daisy, to give credit.
Oh, perfect. Oh, thank you. And apologies, audience. As you can see, the light has turned off in one of the rooms. So I need to... But yeah, no, thank you very much. I think that's really interesting because, as you sort of mentioned, I think it is amazing when you see campaigns sort of come from other campaigns, and especially with the union where offices change, both full-time officers and part-time officers. It is nice to see that sort of continuity. It's having those campaigns lead on to more work that's done to sort of help students, which is ultimately what we're all here to do. But yeah, I think going on to our last question that we've got for this segment. You sort of mentioned it already. So if you want me to come up with another one on the spot, I will try and do it. But how is the union tackling period poverty? I know you mentioned the products that are being given in Hamilton Centre. But yeah, what is the union doing? Anything else? I know, like I mentioned, you're doing videos. Maybe you could tell us a bit more about that.
So obviously you're providing the products. I know that university is doing a food bank or organizing a food bank recently, so we'll be donating some of our products there as well. So it's not only this one place. And I think a lot of the point of like buying a bulk now, but just for a smaller sample, is to gather data. Ask people what kind of products they want, see how many products are needed. So far, I can say we've used over 800 products and we started half of November. So that's a lot, I think. And so yeah, we want to gather this data and we want to see how much it costs and how much there's a need for it. To then, as I said previously, go to university and be like, this is worth it. It doesn't cost that much. Put it in your budget permanently. And I'm not asking for like every single bathroom on campus, but library or something like that. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's really great. And like what you said, it's not about getting it everywhere. Well, I mean, great if it could be everywhere.
Yeah.
But it's about, having it in as many accessible places as possible. So students who are going, students on, especially those on campus, can use these facilities and these resources.
And I think I'm a big supporter of putting it actually in bathrooms and in all bathrooms, because we've tried to like put it in the male one and in the female one, and we have gender neutral bathroom and disabled bathroom as well, because I think university tried to do it whether by you can come and ask us to get the product or to put it just in female bathroom. And I think women aren't the only ones to menstruate, and I think that's another one of like really big myths about menstruation. And it's really because it can be very embarrassing for other people, although it shouldn't be. But we are where we are. I think it is much easier for people to just like, oh, I need it at this moment when I'm in the bathroom, rather than go and ask. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And kind of like what you mentioned, there is a stigma when it comes to, especially, I mean, I'm a guy, so I guess saying from like a guy point of view, the conversations around like periods and menstruation can sometimes not happen because, like you said, especially do a whole episode on sexism. But like what you were mentioning there, that especially if people I'm not saying specifically to the university, but if it's in an organization and people higher up are only men, then obviously, like you said, men typically don't menstruate, and they are the ones that are making the decisions for the rest of the workplace, and they're not seeing the effects that it's having, which again, like I said, it's a whole conversation on that. But no, I think it's really important, and it's really great actually, sorry, to see that that's what you're doing this change, because I know that like you said, I know from hearing from people, from people on my course, from friends, from random people I've just met on campus. This is a tough year, and there are, like you said, it's now becoming a sort of choice of, do I buy food? Do I like buy hygiene products for myself? Do I buy this? Do I buy that? And it can really impact a student's decisions. But it's great to see that you guys are doing actually, you're doing really great work and helping to support students, which I think is, like I said, it's ultimately what we're here for. So thank you.
Thank you.
No. And yeah, but we've come to the end of the episode, and it's been a pleasure, Vic, to have you on the podcast. There might be some people in our audience thinking, wow, Vic's doing amazing work. I want to know more about Vic. I want to get in touch with Vic. They might even be able to support in some way, which actually, before we sort of go into how they can contact you, I didn't actually ask that. Is there any way that students can support with this campaign?
So obviously this is just the beginning of it, and I think looking at next year, I want to do much more events. We wanted to do like discussion panels about period stigma and stuff. So I think just keep an eye on our social medias. And yeah, I'm gonna try to reach to more societies and see. But there's definitely raising awareness is the easiest one for now, I think. But if you have any ideas, like we're always happy to, take you on board.
No, definitely, and I guess that nicely leads on to what I was saying before about how is the best, what's the best way for students to get in contact with you?
So obviously email, which is victoria.svoboda at brunel.ac.uk. Basically on the website of the union website, you can find all my contact details. I also have Instagram that is also on the website. You might have trouble spelling my name, so maybe just go there. And yeah, if you want to chat to me about this campaign, call me at any point of the night and I can give you 4 hours of conversation.
Oh, wow. No, thank you. And yeah, I'm sure our audience will definitely get. Like I said, it's a really great campaign, so I'm sure our audience will be glad to support in any way they can. But yeah, thank you very much, wonderful audience, for coming back to another episode. If you like this episode, like, comment, and subscribe. It's always appreciated. Make sure you click the notification bell so you don't miss when the next episode's coming out. And feel free to, if you want to support the podcast, if you want to get some free perks while doing it, check out our Patreon page, links down below, and you can find out more there. But yeah, we've come to the end of the episode. It's been a pleasure. Vic, thank you very much for coming on. This has been great to discuss this conversation with you, and I guess, be a part of the change. I'd say it's nice. It's nice.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh, no, thank you. And we'll see you all later in the next episode where we go behind the curtain. So thank you and goodbye for now.